Did you know that your face can reveal whether you're wasting or preserving your most powerful sexual energy? And have you ever looked into a man's eyes and felt a purity that's impossible to fake? I am not talking about naivete, but true discipline, the kind that comes from absolute self-control, because your way of life is always reflected in your eyes, your skin, and the strength of your presence. The face never lies. It is a visible map of your lifestyle, a mirror of your nervous system, your hormonal balance, your weaknesses or your strengths. In the West, it is often said that the eyes are the mirror of the soul. But through the practice of retention, they become a living reflection of your will. Your face becomes the first sign that others perceive inner mastery or dependence on impulse, superficial physical attractiveness, symmetry, tone, vascularities, often reduced to biological health. But the face reveals something deeper, an entire system in order or chaos. A man who constantly slacks off keeps his body in good condition, despite hormonal imbalance, elevated prolactin, and plummeting testosterone. This translates into a dull look, a slumped posture, and a diminished presence. When you resist, the opposite happens. The body stops putting out fires and starts building. It's like a nation shifting from war to strategy, like soft will redirecting its energy to higher functions. The body sharpens its resources, regains its vitality, and sculpts its physical envelope to support a clearer mind and a stronger will. And what happens after 90 days? First, prolactin levels drop. This hormone, which floods your body with every release, is reduced, promoting sharper thinking, increased testosterone, and decreased inflammation. Mood improves, skin clears, and the nervous system strengthens. At the same time, dopamine levels increase. Without the constant bombardment of pleasure, the brain reboots. With stable dopamines, the mind focuses. Motivation returns, and creativity is reborn. Since dopamine also regulates muscle tone and emotional expression, the face transforms. It's brighter, firmer, and more present. Because this molecule isn't just about pleasure. It's also a compass that guides the body in its movements and their intensity. When this system is no longer abused by artificial effects, your entire being, including your face, regains coherence. In other words, your natural facial expressions begin to reappear. The human in you becomes more present again. Instead of being the hungry ghost of an exhausted man, you become endearing again. A man with presence, power, and self-control. No longer a shell, no longer a man numbed by complacency. And most importantly, your face no longer looks guilty. He no longer hides. Your skin improves because your body is no longer irritated. No more dullness, no more breakouts, no more stubborn dryness. Even when you're well rested, prolactin disrupts your sleep, and sleep deprivation shows on every inch of your skin. Now, your blood is carrying oxygen properly. Your cells are receiving the signal to regenerate, not just survive. The grayness fades, brightness returns. Not the fake one, the real one. The soft glow of a balanced system, of an aligned man and his eyes. Some men say they light up, not only in color, but also in concentration. In stillness, a gaze that holds, that does not stray, does not plead, does not flinch, it remains. And this stillness, this intimacy with your own fire changes you. You begin to see yourself, and this light reflects outward through your eyes. Your eyes are portals, mirrors of essence. Spirit shines through them, but only if your essence is preserved. When you are exhausted, that spirit disperses. Your gaze flickers, dwindles. But when you hold it, the spirit focuses, not in a way you can fake, but in a way the world cannot ignore. She doesn't need to know about hormones or study dopamine pathways. She simply feels the difference. Most men have hunger on their faces, boundless energy, uncontrolled attention. But the man looking at her is different, calm, clear, unflappable. Although he's not perfect, he finally feels free. And she senses the absence of need, and it troubles her, intrigues her, attracts her. You no longer radiate despair, you radiate direction. This practice isn't just physical, it's a spiritual battle. Every day is a test. You must either release the tension or exalt it. This tension transforms you. You begin to resemble someone who can endure pain, someone profound, someone dangerous but calm. And that appearance is rare. In a world of instant gratification, you become a slow-burning flame, and people notice, even if they don't understand why. So yes, your face changes, and it's not just because you're pursuing perfection, but because you're practicing the truth, living for it. And in doing so, you provide your body with the foundation it needs to reorganize, optimize, and become fit for reproduction. Your blood is purified. Your habits are aligned. Your body is no longer a battlefield, but a cathedral. It takes 90 days, but the first sign of change occurs when you look in the mirror and no longer feel ashamed. Not because you're perfect, but because you're making progress. Seminal retention is much more than simply abstaining from physical release. It is a path of complete transformation that encompasses every aspect of your existence. For centuries, ancient cultures have recognized the power of this practice. From the yogis of the Himalayas to the Purium monks of Chinese temples. Did you know something modern man has forgotten? Sexual energy is the most powerful creative force in the universe. When a man practices seminal retention correctly, he doesn't just repress a natural impulse. He learns to transmute this raw energy into something higher. Ancient tantric texts describe this process as the sublimation of fundamental energy to higher centers of consciousness. It's no coincidence that many of history's most famous and charismatic men practiced some form of sexual coercion. The neurological process that occurs during this coercion is fascinating. The brain, accustomed to regular dopamine surges, begins to rebalance itself. Dopamine receptors, which have become less sensitive due to constant stimulation, regain their natural sensitivity. This means that everyday activities like exercise, creative work, or simply an interesting conversation begin to give you more genuine satisfaction. And your endocrine system also undergoes profound changes. Not only do testosterone levels increase, but they also stabilize at more constant levels. This results in increased physical energy, better muscle recovery, and healthier, more controlled relief. Growth hormone levels are optimized, which improves cellular repair and muscle mass maintenance. Cortisol, the stress hormone, tends to normalize, leading to better stress management and reduced systemic inflammation. But the most profound changes occur on the energetic and spiritual levels. Experienced practitioners speak of a phenomenon called the transmutation of sexual energy. This energy, instead of being expelled, is redirected upwards via the nervous system. Ancient texts describe this phenomenon as the awakening of the Kundalini energy, a dormant force residing at the base of the spine. As this energy rises, it activates different centers of consciousness. The first noticeable change concerns self-confidence. This is not an artificial confidence based on external achievements, but an inner confidence born of self-control. This confidence is reflected in your posture, your speech, and your way of occupying physical space. People notice it immediately, even if they can't explain exactly what's changed. Creativity soars. Many artists, writers, and entrepreneurs have reported that during periods of withdrawal, their creative capacity peaks. This makes sense from an energetic perspective. Sexual energy is inherently creative. When it is not physically released, it is channeled into other forms of creation. Personal magnetism is another notable effect. This phenomenon is difficult to explain scientifically, but it is well documented by practitioners. There's something about the presence of a man practicing seminal retention that naturally attracts others. Women especially sense this, even if they can't express exactly what they feel. It's as if they perceive the person's concentrated life energy. The look really changes noticeably. This is not a simple poetic metaphor. Practitioners develop what is traditionally called the third eye, a gaze of incomparable intensity and clarity. The gaze becomes brighter, more present, more penetrating. This gaze possesses a magnetism that can be both attractive and intimidating. Sleep is significantly improved. Many men practicing sleep retention report needing less sleep but feeling more rested. Their dreams become more vivid and meaningful. Some experience lucid dreams more frequently. This is because the nervous system is less exhausted and can repair itself more effectively while resting. Mental discipline is significantly strengthened. Resisting one of the human body's strongest impulses develops willpower that extends to all areas of life. Men find it easier to maintain healthy diets, exercise routines, and productive habits. It's as if the muscle of self-discipline has been strengthened by intensive training. The relationship with time changes. Men who practice retention often report feeling they have more time available. This is not only because they no longer devote time to activities related to sexual release, but because their perception of time changes. They become more present, more focused on the moment, which makes each moment more complete and satisfying. Intuition develops noticeably. Many practitioners report a greater ability to read situations, people, and energies. It's as if the constant noise of unfulfilled sexual urges has been quieted, allowing more subtle signals to reach consciousness. This heightened intuition can be particularly useful in social and professional situations. The immune system is strengthened. Scientific studies suggest that frequent ejaculation can temporarily weaken the immune system. Withholding ejaculation allows the body to conserve resources normally used to replenish sperm, redirecting them to immune and repair functions. The voice changes subtly. Many men notice their voice becoming deeper, louder, and more authoritative. This may be due to hormonal changes, but it may also be due to increased confidence and presence, which is reflected in their speech. Posture naturally improves. Men who exercise restraint tend to walk straighter, occupy more space, and move with more purpose. This isn't a conscious thing, but a natural expression of increased confidence and vital energy. Paradoxically, interpersonal relationships improve. By not constantly seeking sexual gratification, men become more socially attractive. They can identify with women without the ulterior motive of sexual conquest, making interactions more authentic and relaxed. Concentration increases. Without being constantly distracted by unsatisfied sexual urges, the mind can fully concentrate on the task at hand. Many students and professionals experience significant improvements in their academic and professional performance. Charisma develops naturally. Authentic charisma cannot be faked. It is born from a combination of confidence, presence, vital energy, and authenticity. Seminal retention cultivates all of these qualities simultaneously. However, the path is not without pitfalls. The first days and weeks can be particularly difficult. The body and mind, accustomed to regular release patterns, can rebel. It is common to have wet dreams, especially in the first few weeks. They should not be considered abnormal, but rather a natural part of the rebalancing process. The key lies in the active transmutation of energy. It's not enough to just not ejaculate. You have to learn to channel that energy into productive activities. Intense physical exercise is one of the best ways to transmute sexual energy. Martial arts, weightlifting, running, and immaterial activity that requires significant physical exertion can help channel that energy constructively. Meditation is another essential tool. Specific techniques like fire breathing, microcosmic orbit meditation, or simply mindfulness meditation can help direct sexual energy to higher centers of consciousness. Creative work is equally important. Writing, painting, making music, building something with your hands. Any form of creative expression can serve as a channel for transmuted sexual energy. When the mind rises above instinct, it becomes limitless, one day at a time, one impulse at a time, until the look of the man in the mirror matches the vibration you feel within your soul. Your face doesn't lie. Every muscle, every pore, every laugh line is a living testament to your self-control and to the amount of energy you conserve. To see clearly, spend a moment in front of the mirror. In absolute silence, observe your eyes. Do they remain fixed, steady, with a spark of depth, or do they blink anxiously to avoid their own gaze? This simple test reveals whether your will has been tempered or given into the most basic impulse to facial architecture and pent-up energy. By maintaining sexual restriction for weeks, even your face begins to subtly change. Your jawline becomes more refined thanks to the stabilization of testosterone. This certainly strengthens bone density, but it also demonstrates a more powerful presence. Your cheeks stop sagging due to hormonal fatigue. They regain their natural volume thanks to improved lymphatic and capillary circulation. This firmness isn't just aesthetic. It's the seal of an inner energy that no longer disperses. Your face gradually acquires a tectonic tension, as if it had moved from a tired periphery to a serene epicenter. The micro-expressions of self-control. True change lies not only in the static, but in the dynamic in the micro-expressions. Did you know that during restraint, your forehead tends to relax? The corrugator muscles between your eyebrows relax because you're no longer constantly struggling with guilt or post-orgasmic anxiety. Instead, a slight arch of the brow is activated, expressing curiosity, wonder, and openness. Your lips stop pursing in self-protection and relax, creating a more harmonious horizontal line. This subtlety exudes undeniable confidence. Skin tone, an indicator of determination. Paleness or persistent redness in certain areas of the face are often a sign of internal imbalances such as chronic inflammation, poor circulation, or excess prolactin. After a few weeks of use, you will notice an even skin tone, the disappearance of diffuse redness, the reduction of dark circles, and a more radiant complexion. Your skin will then regain a soft and balanced glow. This reflects an optimized circulatory system that no longer devotes its resources to cell regeneration, but to the nutrition of each cell. This even skin tone will give you a more radiant and dynamic appearance. Facial aura and energetic resonance. Although you don't notice it with the naked eye, your face emits an electromagnetic field. When you have depleted your sexual energy, this field becomes erratic, with peaks and troughs, and is reflected in your high-pitched or wavering voice and your gaze, which takes on an inquisitive tone. However, after 30, 60, or 90 days of retention, your facial aura appears more compact, as if the halo around your head has shrunk and intensified. Those around you perceive this with an impression of calm and determination. There's nothing mystical about it. It's pure neurohormonal coherence that's reflected in your skin. Facial practices to accelerate your transformation. Massage your face with your fingertips from chin to jaw, using gentle pressure to drain lymph and stimulate the lymph nodes. The guasha, or massage roller, is a tool that moves from the center of the face outward, strengthening the turgor of the cheeks and cheekbones. Thermal contrasts alternate with hot and cold pressure on the forehead and cheeks. This tones the blood vessels and awakens the sensory receptors, thus connecting the mind and the face. To breathe, inhale deeply, gently pressing down on the bridge of your nose. Then exhale, releasing the tension. This exercise directs prana to the frontal region, the area of emotional expression. By holding sexual energy and redirecting it, your brain regains the ability to perceive emotional nuances beyond primary desire. This emotional intensity begins to show on your face. These aren't forced gestures, but the spontaneity of your reactions to a real stimulus. You laugh more openly. Your frown is less rigid. You purse your lips when something bothers you and express it naturally. This authenticity transforms your face into a mirror of your integrity. The gaze as a silent pact. Prolonged eye contact is a powerful weapon. In a man who holds you, the gaze doesn't seek to escape. It fixes the scene. It analyzes calmly, inviting interaction beyond sexual instinct. This stillness in the pupil provokes a visceral reaction in anyone who confronts you. He perceives that you are in control of yourself and thus grants you social authority. You don't talk about your workouts or boast about your self-control. Your gaze betrays it. Scientific evidence and historical anecdotes prove it. Social psychology studies show that symmetrical, even faces are perceived as healthier and more trustworthy. However, retention offers an added benefit by reducing hormonal micro-inflammations that would otherwise ruin your fatigue wrinkle profile. The Shaolin monks of China and the tantric yogis of India knew this. They used energy transmutation practices to refine their features and maintain this superhuman presence even in old age. The hormonal cascade from retention to facial change. Days 1 to 21. Initial adjustment. Prolactin slowly declines. You begin to notice a slight improvement in skin firmness and a more stable baseline energy level. From days 20 to 45, dopamine levels normalize. Flashes of clarity appearing in your gaze, allowing you to see objects and people with increased mental acuity, which is reflected in a smoother contraction of the orbicularis oculi muscles. From days 46 to 75, testosterone increases by a few percentage points and stabilizes. Your jawline and cheekbones are more defined. The sharpness of your eyebrows and the transition between your eyelids and the beginning of your forehead are sculpted and sharper. Days 76 to 90. The anabolic state is maintained. Your cellular repair metabolism is at full capacity. The first wrinkles are reduced, dark circles fade, and your eyebrows reflect active passivity. beyond the physical and intellectual beauty of your face. Thanks to increased dopamine and controlled cortisol, your brain can allow itself to explore complex ideas and think blindly. This mental activity is reflected in your expressions, with hints of surprise when you assimilate something new, glimmers of complicity when you share a thought, and a measured smile that conveys the pleasure of an intellectual connection, not just a sensual one. So your face stops being about sex and begins to convey wisdom, social resonance in how the world interprets your new face. When you bring about this transformation, there's no need to flaunt it. The world feels it. In business meetings, your deeper voice and controlled gestures give you credibility. In social circles, your serene expression inspires confidence. With women, this blend of warmth and calm translates into an attraction that moves from the physical to the sexual, creating a psychological, almost spiritual magnetism, a positive feedback loop. As others respond to you with respect, interest, and admiration, your face relaxes even more. This feedback strengthens your nervous system, which, in turn, better regulates your hormones, improving your complexion, vision, and facial symmetry. It's a virtuous circle of retention, facial firmness, social recognition, inner peace, and increased resilience in the face of the ultimate challenge. If you're still unsure, grab your phone and look at a photo of yourself taken 6 months ago. Compare this face to the one you see every morning in the mirror. Now that you've held back for a while, observe your jawline, the surface of your skin, the quality of the light in your eyes. This isn't just a cosmetic change. It's proof that your inner effort is reflected in every square inch of your face. Your face is your symbol. It reveals without words whether you have dispersed your most powerful force or focused it to forge your best version. Cultivating seminal retention means stepping back from instinct to give yourself a face that radiates purity, determination, and inner mastery. And this face speaks volumes about how you have chosen discipline over instant gratification, depth over transience, truth over distraction,